over to Cynthia Dempsey for the next question.
Hi, everyone. I'm here also with the Women's Caucus, and I want to thank all the participants tonight for joining us. My question is, the United States is one of the few countries in the world who fails to guarantee paid family leave for all workers. The Democratic Party platform supports guaranteeing paid family leave, but many Democrats' plans differ. What paid family leave program do you envision for city employees and contractors to set an example in the region? And we'll start with Ross DeBello.
Thank you, Cynthia, for that question. Specifically, grievance pay, right? We want to, let's say you have a miscarriage, right? You're a parent and a married man as well. You know, we want to guarantee you grievance pay. We want to support parental leave on top of FMLA. And furthermore, beyond the paid family leave, you know, I want to make pay history blind, right? Like Cincinnati and Toledo have done. And I want to support the things that Senator Antonio is proposing right now currently at the State House. So the grievance pay for miscarriages is something that I want to look into. Making sure that trans rights are represented in employer health care legislation. Those would be the main things at the beginning of my term in January, and the blind pay history. If we see Republicans take control of you know, Congress, Senate, Supreme Court, State House, I also want to ensure that we're protecting a woman's right to choose at the small muni level that we have, right? Doing a declaration. So, and certainly always open to being lobbied by Cuyahoga Democratic Women's Caucus, Stonewall, and all these fine organizations that have devoted their lives to work, right? To the types of things that Senator Antonio is proposing at the State House. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Kevin Kelly.
Thank you very much, and I want to thank you for the question. Right now, the city of Cleveland only offers the minimum required by FMLA, and that's going to change when I'm mayor. We're going to begin with 12 weeks paid parental leave for mothers and fathers. Right now, we are, we join, New Guinea. There's only 3 countries in the world, the industrialized world, that do not have paid parental leave, and we are one of them. We need to make sure that families view Cleveland as a place where they want to work, where they want to have a career. And families can't financially afford to go without wages for the amount of time. And with the daycare that needs to be provided, there's just not a choice. Mothers return to work too early to allow for full recovery post-pregnancy. You've got to be there for the baby, for the child's first months. This is very important to me. I have a section on my website devoted just to paid parental leave. This is something that's going to happen day one. It's going to begin with 12 weeks, mothers and fathers. And we want to encourage families to look at the city of Cleveland as a model for where they want to work, for when they raise their families. This is something that is long overdue. We are in the company of just a very few places that do not offer paid parental leave. It's got to change. We have to start sending a message to our families that they are valued, that our workers, they are valued. They are the backbone of the city of Cleveland. They provide the services. Paid parental leave is going to be a day one initiative when I'm mayor. And again, we're beginning with 12 weeks for the mother and the father paid. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, Dennis Kucinich.
The city of Cleveland could have years ago made a commitment in this regard, and it's good to hear the candidates indicating a willingness to do so now. I supported paid family leave as a member of Congress. But beyond that, as the next mayor of Cleveland, I intend to make sure that the principle of working to live instead of living to work is brought to fruition. What do I mean by that? the approach to work in too many places is you work, work, work to fulfill some extrinsic goal that may have nothing to do with you as a person. And that is, you can call that living to work. But there's another model, and that model is working to live. People have families at home, they have loved ones, they have individuals who they care for. And at times they're pressed as to whether or not they can actually continue on the job or keep their benefits and take care of somebody at home where there's a birth or some other event. So what I intend to do is this, and it's pretty much the same thing that I did as a member of Congress for my congressional staff. People could have at least 6 months if they needed it for paid family leave, for whatever purpose. No questions asked, as long as they state the reason. And this is something that ought to be part of every labor contract. It ought to be part of every city worker's experience. And then we'll encourage the private sector to do likewise. As mayor of the city of Cleveland, I'm going to help to make sure that our city sets the standard for cities around the country, and in doing so, also sets the standards for the private sector as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Zach Reed.
Thank you, Cindy. It's always great to be in the same room, to speak with you. I know I'm in the right room if I'm in the room with Cindy Dempsey. So appreciate you, Cindy, for all you do for the Democratic Party. I believe in paid family leave, paid parental leave. But before we jump there, I think the first thing that we need to talk about is how many of us are going to fight to ensure that women get the same pay as men. I mean, we can talk about what's happening afterwards, but I mean, right now in my administration, it's not going to be this, that men are going to make X amount of dollars and women are going to make X amount of dollars. It needs to be equal pay for equal work. And that's going to be in my administration. When we talk about paid family leave, I believe in that. I believe if you look at where we're looking at right now, that so many women are not coming back to work after the virus because they can't afford daycare. So why can't we have a daycare center here at Cleveland City Hall? There's no reason in the world why they can't have a daycare at Cleveland City Hall. We got enough room, we got enough space to ensure that a mom who wants to bring her child to City Hall should be able to bring their child to City Hall, to be able to take care of them right there and go visit them on their lunch break. Why don't we have flexibility? Why isn't there flexible work schedules for these families and these people? I mean, it goes back to the first question when we talked about reform. We're in a new day. This is 2021. The things we did yesterday are old news. We need to start looking toward the future. And that's what my administration is all about. It's about how do we look at the issues of today to ensure that we make a better future for all. And that's what I'm all about.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Sandra Williams.
Thank you, Cindy, for the question. I really do appreciate being here. Let me just say this. I have several friends who work at City Hall. Some of them were dealing with families and parents who were in their last stage of life. And the city of Cleveland put them through hell just to take off, to take care of their families. And in many occasions, they were told they had to fill the FMLA form. That's what they were told they had to take in order to take care of their family members. In many instances, I stepped in and took care of their family members because the FMLA was denied. And we know for a fact that when you're in an emergency situation and something happens to a family member of yours, you do not have time to call the city and say, hey, I want to take an FMLA day today. So yes, I do agree that we should have the extended, paid family leave when you're taking care of people. I have co-sponsored bills in the state legislature for probably since I've been in the legislature the last 15 years to address these issues. Senator Mayoral has a bill for 12 weeks. Representative Boyd has a bill for 12 weeks. Senator Antonio has a bill. And I, along with my Democratic colleagues, have sponsored those bills to try to get them to move. We have faced difficulty in trying to get those things passed from the private sector. But I can tell you this, as the mayor of the city of Cleveland, No longer will people have to jump hoops to take care of their family members. And yes, this does apply to men as well, because they should be taking care of the members of their family as well. It's not just a female thing. We are not the ones at home all day long. Men are at home taking care of their members, their family members as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And last, we have Justin Bibb.
You know, this is really about the dignity of work and creating a culture inside City Hall that prioritizes inclusivity, that prioritizes the health and well-being of our employees, but also that prioritizes boosting morale and boosting engagement in the workplace. Lakewood has presented a very, I think, great model for Cleveland to explore to make sure that every city employee has access to paid family leave, especially additional benefits to support children and their respective families. And I know this issue personally. I remember when my dad, who before he died, who got very sick, without a paid family leave policy, my dad probably would have gotten laid off and probably wouldn't be able to afford healthcare. And so for us to truly have a modern and responsive, but an inclusive City Hall that prioritizes the dignity of work, it's critical that we have these types of benefits to support all of our city employees.
Okay, thank you very much, candidates, for your answers. And next